Hello, I am one of your smooth talking hosts, Joe. With me, as always, is my two awesome friends, John.
Hello.
Hello. And Travis.
My people.
Let's see. What game franchise do you miss and wish would come back? Like, what one went away and you still yearn for it? You know, even a remake, a continuation of the original story, or 100% remake of that franchise. Either way, one that died and you want to.
Ooh.
Good question.
Yeah, me personally, I've talked about it before. I'll talk about it again. The Legacy of Kain franchise. I want to see it come back. You know, I had such fun with those games that had such a huge world that they created, such great lore in that universe, and it's because of the companies not being able to share the license right, that why it went away. So I want it to come back. I want to see Kain again. I would be okay with a remake or a continuation of the story, either one, as long as I get Legacy of Kain back, especially on next gen consoles with next gen graphics and gameplay. It could be amazing.
That would
I
be
think-
crazy to see, and with the technology of now, yes, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Get it up to specs. I think one I would like to see that left us off on a really shitty note was Army of Two.
Oh yeah.
I never actually played those games, but I was always interested. I just never actually gave them the time of day.
They weren't anything at all like what they originally said. Like when the first game was announced originally, I was thinking, "Oh my god, this is gonna be amazing!" And then it comes out, and you're like, "This isn't anything at all like they said it was gonna be." And the second one went even further away from that.
See, I like the second one better than the first. The third, don't even play it. It's not even.
Was there a third? I didn't realize there was.
Yeah, that's how bad it was.
Oh, wow. Like I say, I know Army of Two. What was the second one called? What? Didn't it have something to do with a cartel of some kind?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I have no idea about the third one. That's crazy. That's like a direct to DVD movie release. You know?
Yep.
Yeah, it was
Way under
definitely
the
one of
radar.
those. I love the whole, it put a new aspect on it, which kind of felt like it gave birth even to I know it was linear, it wasn't open world like Wildlands, but it had that kind of feel to it as far as the way the shooting went and the teamwork and all that kind of craziness. But yeah, I didn't personally play the third one, but I watched a couple reviews and I'm glad.
Glad you didn't give it the time of day. Right on. I didn't even know a third one came out, and I never actually got to play the other ones. So that might be some homework for the next month. Try to go back and check them out. So what about you, John? What franchise do you miss and wish would come back?
Ooh. So the only game that I could think of while you guys were talking about was Jade Empire. But again, with the way BioWare, what they are turning into, I don't see that ever happening. I love that game back in the day.
Was there more than one? Or was there only one?
Yeah, it was just the one. It kind of was... Well, no, I was to say it was like the first game that they kind of did like that, but I suppose... what you want to call it?
Knights of the Old Republic.
Yeah.
See, they had a formula with games in that early 2000s with their RPGs, and I actually liked that formula. I liked that they applied it to a lot of different types of games. Yeah, it was essentially just D&D rules with whatever makeover. So, the Knights of the Old Republic, it worked off the D&D D20 system, feats, skills, and so on. And I did absolutely love those games. That's another franchise I would come back is Knights of the Old Republic.
Yeah.
And yeah, BioWare kind of that same one with Mass Effect, which it did work, but still the same essential formula. They did it with Dragon Age and yeah, Jade Empires, which is again is one I didn't play, but I know you've.
Yeah,
And,
I love that game.
I mean, I'm kind of surprised that it only got an entry. You know, that seems like one that could have become a franchise if they would have actually dedicated some more time to it.
Yeah, for sure. Also, real quick, Joe, are you playing with a pen?
I am. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's really loud and it's
Is it?
clicky.
Is it? Oh, okay. I'm done. Terribly sorry.
Very good.
This mic is better than I thought since I've adjusted my levels. People can hear me now.
Yeah. You are louder. Yeah, I heard the click. I was like, "What in the hell is that noise?" Oh my god, it's driving me crazy. Yeah.
Don't feel bad, Joe. I just put a paintbrush up my nose.
I'm a fidgeter, man. I can't, it's hard to sit here and not do something with my hands, you know, like. And I didn't realize the pen was that loud, so I am sorry.
Joe's like, "Fuck you, John. These hands are for creation."
One more comment, I'm gonna give you these hands.
How about you use that mouth like for what we're doing right now?
Well, hold on, I gotta turn a game on first. Wow, chicka wicka wow.
Harkening back to past episodes.
That's what I do. I love it when I'm gonna try to do that a lot. Actually, love it when TV series do it. We talked about How I Met Your Mother before. I love that they kept going back to previous episodes.
Yeah.
And you know, keeping it alive, which is something not a lot of.
No, I feel like that show's the only show that I really have seen that has done that, and they did it damn well too. Like they had to have planned that out like so far into the future to go back to something like they did.
Right. Yeah, that show was great. There was a few things they started to do that got annoying, like going back and rewatching the seasons. Ted is actually quite an annoying dude in later seasons. At first, he's endearing, he's charming, he's quirky, nerdy, but you love him. Then towards the end of the show, you kind of hate him a little.
Yeah, this is one of those characters where you're gonna have to change him up a little bit in order for his character to not get like that.
Yeah, they made too many changes for the worse with him. Yeah. Like the episode where he tried to create his own architect firm, Mosbius Designs. Like he was such a pretentious ass. I almost had to just skip to the next episode.
Right.
But I did still love the series. Great. Barney is my favorite character. Love him.
Great show. If you haven't
Neil
watched
Patrick
it,
Harris. Yeah, Neil Patrick Harris, dude. Okay, like when I was a kid, I remember Doogie Howser when it first came on, and it was not a show I had any interest in whatsoever. You know, and then he kind of faded into oblivion, and then came back as the most awesome dude in the world. Like Neil Patrick Harris is just too cool. I would love to spend a day with that dude. I love what he does for the geek community. He does a lot of things for the gay community. He's an amazing dude, you know, sweet dude. And I love that he is into the geek stuff too. Like I would love to hang.
I want the Stormtrooper statue that he had in his living room in How I Met Your Mother.
It actually changed early in the seasons. It was Clone Trooper, and then it turned into a Stormtrooper.
Oh, well.
Yeah. That was something I noticed.
I will have to go back and notice as well then.
Yeah. I love that all the characters, maybe it was because of the age range they were targeting, but I felt like I connected to a lot of those characters, the music they liked, the movies they liked, and it was almost like they made that show just for me. And I guess that's the mark of a great show, when the fan base feels like it's made just for them. You can really lock on to a show that's a good formula that they put together.
Yeah, those good writers. I don't know if those guys have done anything else since then, but I know they were supposed to do essentially the same thing, but it was going to be How I Met Your Father.
Yeah.
But not related to the other show at all. Like none of the characters from that show would appear in the new one. But
yeah, I'm not sure if that ever actually came to fruition or not. I, to be honest, was not interested. It's kind of like back in the early 2000s, they tried to do that 80s show. They tried to
I watched a few. Actually, I think I caught all of the episodes of that they aired. I don't know if they even made it through a full season.
They did. I think they only made like 8 episodes and called it quits because they couldn't get the viewing numbers that 70s show got. And I can understand, like the premise that they had really wasn't all new characters. It's tough to start a show that's a spin-off of another one with all new characters when you've grown to love these characters and actors and the stuff that they've gone through. When they do a spin-off with all new people, it feels generic and forced. And
it's really hard to get into.
I am not into it. Just like the Joey from Friends. I don't even think it lasted a whole season. Or it might have, actually. They might have done one whole season. But it didn't get the viewing number that Friends got. And I think that's why, like the thing that made Friends so popular was the entire cast of Friends, all the Friends. And Joey, he was a big part of that. But I don't think if they would have tried to do a spin-off with just one of any of the Friends, like a Ross show or a Rachel show, any of those shows would have failed because you need the entire cast.
Right.
It's
back to when we were talking about expectations with like the MMOs and stuff, like that's hard to pull off well.
Yeah, and it can be kind of hard to gauge the expectation, to meet the expectations of the fan base, because once you've invested so much time into a series, whether it be games, movies, TV show, comics, whatever, you feel like you own a little bit of that. It's a part of you. It's a part of your life. And when it changes and it's something that you just can't get on board with, you feel betrayed, you feel let down, you feel almost lost because now you're like, I've invested all this time. Now I'm not doing it anymore. What am I going to do with it?
All right. It's become part of your life. Yeah, you grow up with these things.
Yeah, exactly. And that can be kind of it can be kind of devastating a little bit to you when a show takes a turn like that, or they try to change aspects with a spin-off or something. It can really let you down and leave you feeling a little empty.
Hell, even if it ends well, like take the Harry Potters for instance. 10 years of those movies and all these kids growing up on the books and the movies, and then they're done now. Afterwards you're like, I don't know what to do with myself.
Well, I hear they actually might be coming back because J.K. Rowling wrote that stage play. What was it called? The Cursed Child. And that actually involves Harry Potter as an adult, and it's his kids at school. And I hear that they are actually planning on making a movie. I believe it's going to be after the next Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them.
There's still 3 more of those, I think, that have to be made.
Well, maybe they'll run them concurrently. Then, you'll have a prequel and current going at the same time. I could see them doing that. But I hear there are plans to actually turn that into a film and possibly another trilogy where, you know, Harry Potter would be grown up and following his kids, which I could be on board with that. As long as they bring the original cast in enough to where it connects the stories, you know,
Right.
like as long as you see Harry and
Ron and Hermione.
Jenny, sorry, I almost forgot his wife's name.
Oh yeah.
Ron's little sister, Jenny. As long as you get to see them at the beginning, dropping their kids off at the station, kind of like where the last movie left off.
Yeah.
You know, like pick up right there and maybe have them kind of have their voice sending a talking letter or doing the fireplace talking thing that Sirius did in Goblet of Fire.
Right.
Or, you know, like as long as they are in the stories and in the movies a little bit, it can feel connected and would be a nice transition into a new series.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's something that Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them kind of failed. You don't have any familiar faces. It's a whole brand new world that does not feel connected at all.
Right.
Like the look is different, the feel of the entire thing is different. You might be saying some of the same spell names, and so, you know, like you can tell me it's set in the same universe, but I don't believe it yet.
Yeah, like they're good, but yeah, it's definitely different. Like I enjoy them for different reasons, I suppose. Like that's something else too, is you have to kind of detach yourself from those expectations, and that is very hard to do.
Yeah, it is supposed to be a different era, you know, like, which I could understand, but still doesn't feel like the Harry Potter universe. I don't know. Maybe I'll change my mind with we'll see.
Yeah.
So anyway,
next bullet point.
Let's see. What was your guys' first introduction to geekdom? Like the first thing you remember picking up or watching or whatever as a child, you know, the first thing that, you know, Travis, I know you're into guns, but I imagine that's something that came later in life. You weren't playing with an actual AR when you were a baby. All right, moving on.
He found it in the back of the firehouse, actually.
Now I drink from my enemy's skulls.
Like it's kind of tough to think back that far.
I mean, I guess if you think about it, like, I mean, we grow up, you know, with cartoons. Like I grew up watching the old Ninja Turtles cartoon and had all the toys and watched the live action Ninja Turtles movies and stuff. And I never grew out of that. So, I mean, would you consider that?
Yeah,
You know,
that's
like,
yeah, because all those things are a part of the geekdom, you know. They are fandoms in their own right.
So I'm still a child, apparently.
At heart,
how that goes.
At
right?
heart,
Yeah,
at heart. Yes, like I mean, that's the thing about the geek world, man. We're all kids at heart.
Yeah.
Like a small part of us didn't want to grow up, so it didn't. You know, like I'm a toy kid, and I always fucking will be. And that's a good thing, you know. Thank you, babe. That's a good thing. You shouldn't 100% grow up all the time, because when you do, that's how you become Donald Trump. You get orange. You get orange skin and a bad wig, and yeah, like
At least your policies are great.
Doesn't matter what your skin and hair looks like.
I don't know.
That's my thing on that. Not to spin off too hard, is like, think about it like a boss. I don't want a boss that I can, all right, hey man, we're gonna go out back later, we're gonna smoke a J, and then we're gonna come in here and if we don't get the shit done, we don't get the shit done. It's all good. No, I want the asshole that's like, look, dude, we're gonna get this shit done today. We're gonna move these cases, and then we're getting the hell out of here. So
Right.
I don't want to see you fucking around. I want you out there on the floor getting your stuff done.
Mhm.
See, I want a mix of both bosses. I want, while we're on the clock, we're going to get shit done, but on lunch break, we're going to smoke a J. And then when we clock back in, we're going to get that shit finished. Like, that's,
See, but those
I'm
people.
I'm a whistle while you work kind of guy. I believe you can have fun whilst getting the job.
See, but none of those people want to be a supervisor.
True.
It's always the power hungry
Yeah.
pricks or the hey man, it's cool.
Yeah, that is true. There's no middle.
Like my cousin 3 times removed got me this job, man. So I'm just here flowing through the paces.
Yeah. I see. I've dabbled in management, and I don't want to do that again. You know, it's too much responsibility, and it's your fault. Even if you weren't there the day that it went wrong, it's still your fault.
Right. And I feel like that's, we said the argument for that could be, well, why don't you become a supervisor and change things? Well, it's not really that easy, though, is it? Because you are one person as opposed to the entirety of upper management. You're not gonna.
Yeah, like the only way to 100% change things in any company would be to buy the company and own it, and then you change things. Because no matter what level of management you are, boss that is breathing down, unless you are the owner of the company at the top of that pyramid, you have no power to change. So,
yep.
Yeah, but I don't like being a part of that, the management world. I am not to it. I would much rather be a grunt, go do my job, do it well, get my paycheck and go home. I don't want to take work home with me. I don't want to stress while I'm at work. I just want to do my job and go home. Like, doesn't mean I'm not going to do it well. Like I said, I mean, I feel like I'm a good worker. I just don't want to have that much responsibility. Yeah. So I mean, it is hard to think what would be my introduction to the geek world, because like John said, I grew up watching Thundercats, G.I. Joe, He-Man, Ninja Turtles. I guess my first memory of any of that would be probably He-Man. I think that would probably be my earliest introduction to the geek world. I had the He-Man toys. I watched the show.
You had the power of Grayskull.
Yeah, I had the power. So that would probably be my introduction. But I recall just loving all things geek when I was a kid. I got into all of it. Thundercats was another favorite. I had a lot of Thunder toys. I had the actual Sword of Omens, and I remember when I got it, I running around at night. It lit up, and I was running around in the yard at like 10 o'clock at night, so it's pitch black out, and waving my light up sword, loving it. Star Wars. My first movie that I ever saw in theaters was actually Tim Burton's Batman.
Oh, dang.
Yeah. And I remember as soon as I got home, I had a football helmet that I painted black, taped some little cardboard ears on it, drew a bat symbol on it, and ran around in the yard with a fucking sheet wrapped around my neck. Like, I'm Batman. I used to do that stuff, dude. Like, I recall painting up a box to look like a shell and strapping it to my back and running around with little paper swords like I was Leonardo. I was a geek from birth, man. I just loved cartoons, comic books.
Yeah, my brother and I used to go out in the yard after we watched the Turtles movies and just act out the movie, essentially. Sometimes we wouldn't, and we'd do it in our bedroom, and then we got yelled at a lot because we were loud. But
yeah. Oh, yeah. It was like impossible to watch any martial arts movie and not outside and start fucking trying to kick and punch. And, like every time I watched any martial arts movie. I remember having a huge boner for Jean-Claude Van Damme back in the day, like all of his movies. And as soon as it was over, I was trying to do the splits kick in the air. I recall hurting myself a couple of times, but I got pretty close.
What about you, Travis?
It's kind of funny. It's the reason I hate Superman. So I was probably about 5, and I was Superman. Put a little cape on back whenever your mom would put a blanket on you and then put the safety pin around your neck because that was totally safe back then.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And well, they were having this tattoo party when those were still a thing, and they had a local artist come out, and my stepdad had a tattoo chair that he kind of stuffed in the back. Now that I think about it, it's very unsanitary, but they were doing their thing, and I got on top of it, and I was dancing around every tattoos and stuff, and some couple of my cousins were like, "Jump to me, Superman," and I went ahead and did that. Well, 5-year-old me just jumped off of that's 4 or 5 feet up in the air.
Yeah.
I landed on my shoulder and displaced it, and I pass out, and I wake up, and I'm in the hospital, and I got this random dude. He always reminds me of disrespect. That's why I have a calling to this man. This big Mario mustache and Italian looking guy. He's got his big ass, like he's a 40-year-old guy, got his knee into my chest, and there's 5-year-old me like, what is going on? he pulls my arm, I hear it pop, and he resets it. I'm like, oh my god, fuck you, Superman.
Oh shit, that's a story and a half right there, too. It sounds like you woke up to Macho Man putting you in an arm bar. We're gonna fix that arm, brother. Oh yeah.
No, you can stop that. Damien's not.
Next week.
Sorry.
That's great.
Yeah, I would. That would definitely give me some bad memories of Superman if I would have dislocated an arm trying to beat him. I'm glad I never did.
Right.
Out playing in the yard.
I broke my arm. You mean I'm not actually Superman?
Yeah. I'm thankful for all the things that I was introduced to when I was a kid, though, and I feel like that type of stuff kind of helps shape who you become.
Yeah, your mom has always been into that sort of stuff.
Yeah, like she's more into like horror movies. I like the old school horror movies, or at least the ones from my era, but new ones are hit or miss for me. But the Geek World is just thriving. I feel like there's all kinds of cartoons that I'll still watch. I'll go back and watch new cartoons that I watch. I'm excited for next month. Disenchantment Part 2 comes out on Netflix, which is Matt Groening's new series.
Yeah.
Not quite as good as Futurama, but it's getting there. Season 1 kind of started off a little slow, but it finished strong. So I'm excited for season 2. Yeah, like the Geek World just still has a hold on me, and it probably always will. I'm going to be a bit of a kid at heart. And, I was born in the 80s where all that stuff kind of started. Like He-Man and Transformers, all those things. He-Man's getting ready to come. Actually, a Netflix series that is going to be produced by Kevin Smith. And they have a new live action movie in the works that's going to be coming out here real soon. And I think they said 2021. So, it's right around the corner, really.
Yep.
And the Geek World is strong, and I love it. It's comforting. It's fun. It's always going to be my home.
Yes. Same.
And
that's a cozy place to be.
and it encompasses so many different genres in the geek world, sci-fi, adventure, action. A lot of things just fall right into that same just overall world. Like John Wick is a straight up action movie, but the same type of fans that like the Marvel movies are loving the John Wick series. It's got a fandom all its own. I mean, if they're creating characters in Fortnite that look like John
Right.
it's definitely crossing over into geek realm.
Keanu Reeves has a lot to do with that.
Love that guy, man. Love that dude. That's another one I'd love to hang out with. He is such a sweet dude, and he is a good actor. I love that he's on the comeback.
Mm-hmm.
I still don't know if I want a new Matrix movie, but I'll watch it. I didn't ask for it. I feel like the first one was the only really good one, and they could have stopped after that one. But I'm always willing to let my mind be changed, so I'll watch it when it comes out.
Yep. Kat says in chat, Friday, the Dark Crystal Age of Resistance comes out.
Ooh.
The Dark Crystal TV show.
Sounds like that's what our next Wednesday is going to be.
All right. So I read a article about that, actually. Someone was saying that it may be too late for them to do something like this because the Dark Crystal is so old that a lot of the fans are older now. You're still going to have those fans, but it's going to be harder to get sort of the newer generation into it.
I don't think so. I really do. Because see, the thing is, our generation, the ones that grew up with Dark Crystal, are going to show it to our offspring.
Right.
They're going to sit down with us and watch it, and they're going to fall in love with it, and then they're going to talk to their friends about it, and they're going to end up becoming their own genre or a generation that loves that same thing. Like, I don't feel like it's too late. It's a shame that it took them so long, but I don't think that it's going to be doomed for that. I'm excited for it. I would like to see a Labyrinth. If this takes off, do a Labyrinth series too.
Yeah, kind of that whole world.
Yeah. I feel like Labyrinth could be something that really good episodic, like 8-hour-long episodes or something season. They could cover a lot of story. It could even be a whole new character. Doesn't necessarily have to be Sarah. They could do a continuation of the story and have it be a new girl or guy who gets trapped in a labyrinth and is trying to save their brother or sister or whatever. I don't know who they could get to play the Goblin King, though. David Bowie has passed away, but they'll just get Neil Patrick Harris to do it. He's doing such a good job in Lemony Snicket's series of unfortunate events. They'll just get him to play the Goblin King.
Some more no names.
I'm always on board for some no name. Like some of the best movies out there, some of the best franchises started with no names. I mean, Star Wars. I think not a single one of them was really known up until that release, and they became household names because of Star Wars. So, no names can be a great thing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I guess he wasn't technically a no name, but I didn't know who the hell Christian until he got cast as Batman.
Christian Bale, yeah.
So, and nobody knew who Hugh Jackman was because he was a stage actor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when he got cast as Wolverine, that was his real movie role. And, so technically in the world of movies, he wasn't no. He's fucking love Hugh Jackman, man.
Yeah. Good actor. He's there's something wrong with him though, isn't there? Is gonna have to make him sort of retire.
Oh, I don't know. I haven't heard that.
I thought I'd read that he was having health issues. I can't remember now. I'd have to do a Google search, but
He done worked out too damn much for Wolverine and went through too many body changes.
mhm.
It wouldn't surprise me. Yeah, what are some games you guys never finished but always want to finish?
Witcher 3. I know
You never finished that?
I know
Yes.
I'm gonna get a lot of hate for that, but no. I've
No, I'm
started
right there
that
with you.
game. Yeah, I've started it 2 or 3 times, and I love every bit of what I've played, but I don't know what it is about that game. I just could never get past the first section of the game. I don't know why. I love the game. It's phenomenal. It had, won so many awards and was game of the year forever. It's still a top game, and of course CD Projekt Red are phenomenal, and Cyberpunk 2077 I'm going to play until I die. But I just couldn't finish Witcher 3 for whatever reason, and I
Was it
kind of hate
too-
myself for it.
Was it too big of a game? There was too much.
No, I really don't even think that's
Oh.
it. I think just every time I started it, there was just so much else going on in my life at the time, and I kind of put it on the back burner. And eventually, there will be, be a day where I'll sit down and I'll start it and I'll actually get through the game.
Right. Yep, I never played any of The Witcher, so
Yeah, I played two. I played it all the way through. It was great. 3, of course, is phenomenal. Just couldn't do it.
I just I don't know. There's something about it that turned me off. I just couldn't do it. Anyway, Travis, what about you?
Yeah, I hate to say it, but I'm gonna have to agree with John. Not that I have to hate to agree with John, but not to bring anything else, because that's about the only game that
Right
that
on.
I haven't finished. I
Right
think I
on.
played like the first, the mission where you fight the Griffin,
Yeah.
like the very, very, very first, and then I don't know. I mean, so many games came out at that time too, that it kind of got sidewashed.
That can be a real problem if you're when they release too many games too close to each other. I know that these are competing companies and they're all trying to fight for your time, essentially. But it can be really unfair when you're a gamer and play different franchises. Like, it's tough to buy a game and play it all the way through when you have 2 other games that came out at the same time that you want to play too. You want to spend a little bit of time with all of them equally, and
Right.
ultimately one ends up falling down on the back burner and into oblivion in your mind, and then you end up not returning to it. That happens to me a lot, actually. I have a lot of games never finished that I would like to go back to, but I guess the ultimate one would probably be old school Battletoads for the first original Nintendo
Oh,
system.
damn, you're going way back.
Yeah, I never finished it, dude. There was one level, sure, it's one that most people got stuck on. I believe it was the third world. You end up having to. You look like you're inside of some living thing. Like the background is all pink and fleshy, and the platforms that you jump on look like lymph nodes of some kind. But you end up jumping on these hover bikes, and you gotta go down this track, and you have to jump over little rock walls or duck under them or go around them, and I could never get past it. Like, to this day, I still get stuck on that same fucking level, and it bothers me. It haunts me, like Battletoads. If I could just beat that game, my childhood would feel complete.
You watch people speed run that game and beat it in 10 minutes, and then
Well, fuck those people. Yeah, fuck those people. They're hacking. They're cheating in some way. They changed the code. I don't care. I don't know, but I can't do it. I've ever since I was a little kid, I cannot get past that level.
That's funny.
Yeah, but newer games, Shadows of Mordor. I had a lot of fun playing it.
Yeah.
Great game. I never finished it, and
Ooh.
I actually would like to go back, but I have so many other games on my roster here that it's tough to make time.
It really is. You got to be in the mood to want to play something like that too.
Yeah, and I go through different moods a lot. You know, I'll be in a single player mood for a while, and then I'll be in a multiplayer mood. Right now, I'm in a weird mood. Like, I have not been that interested in gaming lately. I was on that new Mortal Kombat for a while. But I actually haven't turned my Xbox on in over 3 weeks. Today was the first time that I really turned it on to game. It was to watch a movie. I've been doing a little bit of PC gaming, like we talked about that Splitgate earlier, which is a fun game.
It's a great game.
Yeah, I get a little bit of something out of that, some nice enjoyment. But I don't know. I'm at a weird point right now. I'm hoping that 3 comes out. It kind of sparks me up again.
What was that you cut out?
Oh, so I was hoping that when Borderlands 3 comes out, it'll spark my interest in gaming again.
Yeah.
Because I'm just kind of on a downward spiral, so to speak.
You know, that's
Gaming at the moment.
the biggest thing. I put vacation time in for that weekend just so I could play that game actually.
Nice.
Yeah, definitely looking forward to Borderlands 3 and the remake of Link's Awakening for the Switch, because that's the first Zelda game I ever played. I remember playing a whole bunch of back in the day on the Game Boy. Cannot wait for that to come out as well.
Mm.
I went to school with a kid that had a Link tattoo.
Nice. I know a guy. We know a guy that has a Triforce tattoo.
Mhm.
Bogar.
Yeah.
Yeah, I ran into him the other day. Actually, he's doing real good.
Good. Yeah, he's
Yeah.
a huge Nintendo fan. It's funny, I went and upgraded my phone earlier today, and the guy, I have a Zelda background on my phone, and he saw it, and he's like, "Oh, bro, cool. Did you play the new one, Breath of the Wild?" I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Cool, man. Did you play it on the Switch?" I'm thinking, that's the only thing it's been released on.
He's
Yeah,
in dire need of a conversation.
Right. He was talking like a million miles a minute. I'm thinking, oh my god, dude.
I mean, is there any other way to play it?
No.
Yeah, like in his defense, like they didn't release it for PC. There's
No, it's just Nintendo. Zelda's always
Okay,
only
yeah.
ever been Nintendo, yeah.
well, yeah, I knew that, but I didn't know if like so the guy is just crazy.
He's trying. I mean, I understand. You know, he's trying to have a conversation with me while we're doing the whole phone thing. It's a long process, but
Yeah.
when you got a grasp for something like that, come on, man. Everybody knows Zelda is on Nintendo.
Yeah, it's like I was playing Mario on the Xbox the other day. I think sounds like we've reached a good stopping point. I'd like to thank everybody that came to spend some time with us tonight, wasted a little time with us. From all of us here at Wasting Time, love ya.
Bye.
So, yeah.
Bye.